When this player plays well, Aston Villa play well, and he certainly had a driving, motivating game in midfield, and that was our captain, John McGinn. And every time he seems to get written off as this guy shouldn't be playing, or is he going to be starting? Is he going to be a player who can keep up with this team? He comes out with a performance like that, and he was just everywhere on that pitch. And like I said, when McGinn is at that firing best, then that is when Villa are at their best.
Yeah, he was great, McGinn. He really was. I was thinking exactly the same thing. I'm only going to slightly hold my sort of praise to him too much because I think he's been pretty poor lately. So the argument could be, if it was Ange here, Struth, mate, yeah, try playing against a team that ain't knackered, mate. Like, absolutely, you've got the energy levels and you're bustling and you're doing all the things that John McGinn's been good for. We need to see these 2, 3, 4 games in a row now, and not against a team that are exhausted because they played Liverpool on the Thursday night and they're running on fumes. They've had tons of injuries. We know that he should still be able to produce the goods like that because he's not. I mean, it's not like he's 35 years old. He's 30, isn't he now? And he's got many years left ahead of him. But he needs to be consistent, otherwise there will be question marks over his long-term future of the club. With the players, obviously, we're going to be able to attract him that we've got around. However, credit where credit's due. I thought he was the absolute spearhead, linchpin of that team. I'll have less of that, Weston. Thanks very much. Come on, Cobber.
But yeah, I think Adam agrees with you. Said the issue is McGinn has one good game in 10.
Okay, yeah.
But Kevin does say it's fitness. McGinn is fitter after injury, so it's getting him up to those levels 3-4 games in. And I take your point. I want to see him do that away from home because when he's driving and when he's that driving force in midfield, we need that away from home because our home form is brilliant, right? We can play different types of games at home. We can be the team that's on the front foot. We've now had a couple of games where we've had fast starts. I think back to Brentford, obviously Tottenham yesterday, Man City. We've had these fast starts again. We've also had the games where we had to grind it out and try and win. We've been pegged back a couple of times. We haven't lost. And we've also kind of had backs against the wall performances, i.e. Bayern Munich. So we've shown we can do that at home, but away from home, we've stunk the place out so many times. And I think a lot of it is to do with, that driving force in midfield. And we haven't necessarily competed as well in those midfield battles, i.e. Newcastle away, even Wolves away. We didn't compete enough. And that's the point. He's got to make sure that he's the one who's leading by example.
Plenty of those away ones as well, mate. Bruges, Monaco, plenty of away performances that have just been nowhere near good enough. I really still hope McGinn's got a few years left with us because he's Mr. Aston Villa, isn't he, at the moment? And he's been through so much with us. Obviously, him and Mings from the Championship still are the two that are kicking around, and sentiment might take over a little bit here. There's no room for sentiment, though, is there? But Mings and McGinn are both only about 30, as we said. So, there's plenty of good years left in them. And if they can just keep that consistency of form, McGinn, the question I've seen in the comments as well is, we for a long time, I was one of the ones that said maybe he needs to play in his Scotland role a bit further forward. But I don't think he's been anywhere near capable.
Carrie said he needs to be in that destroyer number 6 role, but then sometimes we say he can't receive the ball deeper, towards his own box because he gives the ball away too much. But in certain times yesterday, because we had so many options for players on the ball, he could do it because he could pass it quickly. There was one time where he tried a little lofted ball out to Luka Dean, and it might have been Matson who was on at the time, and it nearly got cut out, and that nearly put us under pressure. But apart from that, I thought a lot of his quick passing was really good. And I just thought he had a really good game. And
He
look,
did.
yeah, like you say, we need more of that. But there's a reason why he's the captain. There's a reason why when he is generally when he's fit, Unai Emery picks him. I know he hasn't really got much choice at the moment, but generally he does pick him.
Yeah, absolutely. Credit where credit's due, though. Credit where credit's due. You've got to give him credit. There's a lot of the players that probably need a bit more consistency, but it has been better, hasn't it, since Christmas? Generally, it's been better. There's been a couple of bad
Generally,
performances, but yeah,
I
and
agree.
that Wolves performance is long forgotten when you then have the end to the transfer window we had, and then obviously you have the game like we got the weekend. So yeah, it's good.